Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, everybody. And there is only 10 minutes left until Christmas Day, everybody. But of course, I have to do this first. I'm going to talk about the Bills game against the Chicago Bears. I'm going to do that first. But of course, you're seeing the title. You are seeing the title, and you already know that the Bills are AFC East champions. You know what that means. Here we go. The Bills make me wanna shout, kick your heels up and shout, throw your hands up and shout, throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout. Yeah, 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 yeah. Shout it right now, baby. Come on, come on. Come on and shout. Yeah. Buffalo's happening now. We're on the move now. Bills are happening now. We're making it happen now. Got the spirit. A lot of spirit, yeah. Got the spirit. Just watch it happen now. Hey, 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 go Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. The Bills make me wanna shout. Yeah! That is right, folks. The Bills won today, and the Bills are AFC East champions for a third consecutive year. They beat the Chicago Bears 35-13, and even though it started off rather sluggish for the Buffalo Bills, they picked it up in the second half, and they actually played pretty well. Now, of course, Josh Allen did not play his best game, and of course, for the first time in quite a bit of games, he threw two interceptions, and one of them was a careless interception. And hopefully he will not be like that in the playoffs, because the Bills are going to the playoffs as it is. I already talked about that in the last live stream that I did. Of course, I couldn't do a play-by-play live stream of the the Bills Bears game, because of course it was at 1 o'clock, and of course I'm usually busy around that time. So, and of course it was a special Saturday game because they moved all the games to Christmas Eve, with the exception of a few games which will be broadcast on Christmas Day. There's going to be 3 nationally televised games, and of course I want to let you all know that because the Bills won, it don't matter between the Packers and the Dolphins. I will say that. Of course, today it was a surprise. I didn't expect a few teams to actually lose that I actually picked. I actually had the Detroit Lions winning. They did not win. Of course, on Thursday, I had the Jets winning because I thought they would come back over their loss, and unfortunately, they didn't. They lost to the Jaguars. And then, of course, another surprise was the Dallas Cowboys beating the Philadelphia Eagles. I thought the Philadelphia Eagles were going to win. And there were several other games that I didn't get right, but there were quite a bit that I did. I had the Ravens winning over the Atlanta Falcons. I had there were others too. Oh, and I called an upset. I picked the Houston Texans over the Tennessee Titans, and guess what? It happened. It happened. The Houston Texans won it in the fourth quarter, and they beat the Tennessee Titans, which was pretty awesome. I did enjoy that. But now it's time to talk about the Bills and Bears game. Of course, it was pretty sluggish on both sides. Of course, on the opening drive, the Chicago Bears scored a touchdown, which made it 7-0. And then, of course, the Bills scored a touchdown, but unfortunately, Tyler Bass missed a rare extra point, which is his second miss
in terms of extra points. So that made it 7-6. And then, of course, the Chicago Bears got a field goal, and that made it 10-6. And Tyler Bass tried to kick a field goal, and unfortunately, he missed. And unfortunately, his streak of consecutive field goals came to an end. It was the second longest streak. And at halftime, the score was 10-6. But of course, the Bills picked it up in the second half. They, of course, scored a couple touchdowns, and it made it a better game for Buffalo, because the thing is, the last time I checked, they scored a touchdown, and then they got the 2-point conversion, which made it 14-10. And then they scored another touchdown, which made it 21-10. And then, of course, the last score that the Bears got made it 21-13. And that was all she wrote when it came to scoring for the Bears. They only scored a field goal in the second half. Buffalo ended up scoring two more touchdowns. Quite a bit of them were running touchdowns. Of course, Josh Allen had a running touchdown. Devin Singletary, I think, had a rushing touchdown. And, of course, Josh Allen threw a couple of touchdown passes. But the only real thing that, unfortunately, I wish he could have done better was keep it low on the interceptions. He threw a careless interception again. And as of right now, he's tied with the most interceptions with Matt Ryan. I don't know if Matt Ryan is going to throw an interception, but I'll eventually find out. But of course, Buffalo ended up winning at 35-13. And surprisingly enough, they kept Justin Fields from thriving in the game, even though it wasn't like that at the beginning. Surprisingly enough, the Bears only scored one touchdown in the game. That was it. They only scored one touchdown in the game, and the rest were field goals. That's it. They scored one touchdown and two field goals. That was it. Buffalo's defense actually played a lot better than they did against Miami, surprisingly enough. They kept Chicago Bears less than 20 points, which is awesome. And I was absolutely happy with the defense this time. The defense definitely deserves an A, in my opinion. The offense could have been a little better, including Josh Allen. I give the offense a B. But it's a positive grade overall. And of course, the Chicago Bears didn't play that good. And I don't think they were going to play that good anyway. I had my team beating the Chicago Bears anyway, because I always pick my team over the team that they face. So Buffalo still has the number one spot, and it's going to be a challenge. And by the way, there's going to be a live stream on the Buffalo game because it's a Monday Night Football game. It was placed on Monday Night Football. They're going to face the Cincinnati Bengals on Monday Night Football. So I'm going to be doing that game. I'm going to be doing the second half at least. And I will let you know how, we'll talk about the scoring that happened before halftime. And then, of course, I'll do the play-by-play of the second half. That's how I will do it. Now, there's only one more minute left until Christmas. Now I'm done talking about the Bills. Go Bills, go. AFC East champs for a third year in a row. And now it's reached 12 o'clock. It is Christmas Day. Merry Christmas to you all. Yay! That's another reason why I did this particular live stream, because I was counting down the minutes until Christmas Day here in the Eastern time zone. It is official. It is Christmas Day. Merry Christmas to you all. And I put on my hat for this. I did have on my Bills hat because I was talking about the Bills game against the Chicago Bears. And Merry Christmas to you all. And this is my video when it comes to Christmas. I usually do a Christmas video. This is it. I'm doing a live stream Christmas video. And of course, I'm going to be doing stuff as it is. Now, before I wrap it up, Merry Christmas to you all. I'm going to talk about the games that happened today. So that way I can talk about them. Talk about who won, who lost, which ones that I picked. Of course, you know several of them. And by the way, for people that are watching, I did have my Bills hat on. But I switched to this hat just about when it was coming to 12 o'clock. All right, so here we go. I'm going to do that. And Merry Christmas to Looney Cartoon Man 2003. All right. And of course, most of the games were on Christmas Eve. There's a few on Christmas Day that are going to be on, of course. I picked my team over the Bears. No surprise. Okay. I had, like I said, on Thursday's game, I had the Jets over the Jaguars. The Jaguars won 19-3. I had the Ravens against the Falcons. These are the Saturday games. I had the Ravens winning, and they won 17-9. Now, the biggest surprise to me was the Detroit Lions. I was very disappointed in the Detroit Lions' performance this time around. They lost to the Carolina Panthers, and I had the Lions winning. Disappointment. Because the thing about it is, they lost to the Buffalo Bills only by a couple of points. And when it came to the Panthers, they lost by more than 2 or 3 points. They lost more. Never mind. But you get the idea. It wasn't a close game. That's what I meant. It wasn't a close game at all. 37-23. That was a definite surprise. I didn't expect the Panthers to win that game. Another game that I thought the team that I picked was going to win, that team didn't. I was talking about the Cleveland Browns. I was very disappointed at the Cleveland Browns losing to the Saints. They lost 17-10. I had the Browns over the Saints, and it was a big disappointment. So that's another game that I got wrong. I had the Chiefs over the Seahawks. Chiefs won 24-10. No surprise. I had the Vikings over the Giants 27-24, even though I was cheering for the Giants. And of course, I picked the Bengals over the Patriots because screw the Patriots. But of course, the Patriots almost came back to win it. And if they would have, Buffalo wouldn't have had any problems buying for the number 1 or number 2 seed. But because the Bengals won, Buffalo's going to have to beat the Bengals in order to have a chance at that number 1 seed. Because they could drop down to the number 3 seed if they lose the Bengals in the next game. But of course, I had the Bengals over the Patriots. The final score was 22-18. This was the upset pick that I had. This I had as my upset. I had the Houston Texans of the Tennessee Titans, and it happened. The Houston Texans finally beat a team. And surprisingly enough, and the reason why I picked the Houston Texans is because ever since they had been eliminated, they've played like these particular games were like the playoffs for them. And even though they lost those 2 games, one against the Cowboys and one against the Eagles, I think it was the Eagles. They beat the Tennessee Titans 19-14, which is awesome. Of course, I had the Texans over the Titans. Now, another game that I picked that I had correct was the 49ers. I had the 49ers winning over Washington. I don't call Washington the Commanders. I call them the Caucasians because of the change. Because I don't like when they changed because they felt like Redskins like I'll talk about it in the near future. I'm not going to talk about it right here, but the thing about it is I didn't like it when they decided to get rid of the Redskins name. Then I will say because I felt that was like stereotyping. That's how I felt. But of course the 49ers won over Washington 37-20. Now the biggest surprise I didn't expect. I had the Eagles winning because I thought they were going to clinch even if Jalen Hurts wasn't the quarterback for that particular game. I thought the Eagles were going to win. Unfortunately, they didn't. They lost to the Cowboys. I knew that the game could have gone either way. The Cowboys won 40-34. So congratulations, Dallas. You kept the Philadelphia Eagles from clinching the NFC East. And then, of course, the final game, which, of course, I had the Steelers winning. And surprisingly enough, the Steelers won in the final score. And by the way, this was a comeback win for the Steelers. But the thing about it is the Raiders crapped the game away. The Steelers won 13-10. And those were the games. Of course, tomorrow's games, I'll tell you my predictions for those. And I'll tell you my predictions for the Monday Night Football game. Of course, tomorrow is the Packers against the Dolphins. I, of course, had the Dolphins over the Packers in that game. And then, of course, the Broncos and the Rams is the next one. I have the Broncos over the Rams for that one. And finally, the last game for Christmas Day is the Buccaneers over the Cardinals. I had the Buccaneers over the Cardinals. And then finally, the Monday Night Football game, I have the Chargers over the Colts. There you go. All right, so now that's done. And anybody that's watching, Merry Christmas to you all. This is a Christmas video, but I also wanted to talk a little bit about the NFL games that were broadcasted today, or should I say Christmas Eve. And then, of course, first I want to talk about the Buffalo game. And then, of course, I talked about the NFL games. And then I wished everybody a Merry Christmas once it passed midnight. And I told about my predictions. And I told about the scores. So this is it, everybody. I hope you all enjoy your Christmas. I'm gonna do stuff. I'll probably watch a Charlie Brown Christmas. I will probably do some things. I haven't decided yet, but a Charlie Brown Christmas is gonna be one of my priorities after I'm done. So if you're watching this through the archive, because I know that nobody's on right now, there's nobody that is watching this live stream right now. So if you're watching this through the archive, Merry Christmas to you all. Because this was a Christmas video. Also to talk about the Bills winning the AFC East today. And I told the scores and whatever not to the NFL games that were broadcasted today. So, Merry Christmas to you all. I hope you all enjoy your Christmas. It's Christmas Day, everybody, now in the Eastern time zone. Thank you all for watching. Merry Christmas to you all. Peace out. And go Bills. That's another thing. Bills are AFC East champions, baby. Merry Christmas to you all.